Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be reacting to the Indo-Pakistani War of 1965, animated history, by the Armchair Historian. I don't know... Well, that's weird. I don't know too much about the Indo-Pakistani War of 1965, so I did pull up a little synopsis over here on Wikipedia. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1965, also known as the Second India-Pakistan War, was an armed conflict between Pakistan and India that took place from August 1965 to September 1965. The conflict began following Pakistan's unsuccessful Operation Gibraltar, which was designed to infiltrate forces into Jammu Kashmir to precipitate an insurgence against Indian rule. It's 17 days. That's it? The 17-day war caused thousands of casualties on both sides and witnessed the largest engagement of armed vehicles and largest tank battle since World War II. Is this real? I mean, obviously it's real, but I've never heard of this. Hostilities between the two countries ended after a ceasefire was declared through UNSC Resolution 211, following a diplomatic intervention by the Soviet Union and the United States, and the subsequent issuance of the Tashkent Declaration. Much of the war was fought by countries' land forces in Kashmir and along the border between India and Pakistan. This war saw the largest amassing of troops in Kashmir since the partition of India. That's wild. In a number that was overshadowed only during the 2001-2002 military standoff between India and Pakistan. Most of the battles were fought by opposing infantry and armed units. I had no idea. The largest engagement of armored vehicles since World War II. That's crazy, dude. Down here it says the date, it's 1 month, 2 weeks, and 4 days. But I guess the actual fighting was 17 days, and then the whole deliberation between took a little bit longer. Okay, well, we know a little bit of the backstory, so I guess we're going to go ahead and watch this now. The link to this video will be in the description down below, so make sure to go and check that out. Also, stay at the end of the video after we read the comments and whatnot. We're going to roll for the next video that we will be reacting to. But yeah, until then, this is like super wide. What resolution is this? What is the... 1440p. What is this? It's like narrow. I've never seen. I guess it's like ultra wide. Yeah, it must be designed for like an ultra wide monitor. Interesting. That's very, very, very interesting. I mean, that's fine. I'll just do that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and give this a whirl. I don't think I've ever seen any of the Armchair Historians videos, so it should be interesting.
You can watch this video without any ads or sponsorships and an exclusive companion episode about the Indian invasion of Goa by subscribing.
I was going to say this was obviously not the thing. So that was the invasion of Goa.
Platform Armchair History TV. Go to the link in the description below to join today.
He has his own website. That's pretty cool. There's the link right there. So yeah, check it out.
In 1947, Britain's 200-year rule over the Indian subcontinent finally came to an end. The former British Raj was divided into two separate nations. India
Again, man, the British, whenever they leave a country, they always screw up and cause strife in the future. Whenever they divide the lines for future, for the future countries, They always mess it up, man.
And Pakistan. This partition was driven by religious and political differences, with Pakistan envisioned as a homeland for Muslims, while India retained a secular government with a Hindu majority. A major issue with the partition was the arbitrary drawing of the borders, which often ignored local demographics and historical ties. This resulted in one of the largest mass migrations in history, with millions of Hindus and Sikhs moving to India and millions of Muslims moving to Pakistan. The transition was ill-prepared, rushed, and far from peaceful, as widespread violence led to the deaths of over 1 million people. The staggering loss of life caused by this uprooting caused a deep-seated animosity to fester between the two young nations.
And this history is not taught at all here in the U.S. It might be taught in the British history books. I'm not sure. I've not looked into any of them. But like in the U.S., this isn't talked about at all.
This partition also led to...
He is clean. Look at this haircut. It's so clean. Here I'm all messed up. I got my same old scraggly shirt. He's got a nice button-up shirt. Got nice, like, clean cut hair. I'm just like, I rolled out of bed. I rolled out of bed and I just started recording. All right.
To a geopolitical crisis, as the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir became a significant point of contention. Despite its majority Muslim population, the Hindu Maharaja of Kashmir, Hari Singh...
Is it Kashmir? Or is it Kashmir? Kashmir? I don't know.
...cede to India, a decision that sparked immediate conflict. Pakistan, which saw Kashmir as a natural extension of its territory due to the demographic majority, responded with military intervention. This led to the First Kashmir War from 1947 to 1948, a bloody conflict that resulted in a UN-mediated ceasefire in 1949. The ceasefire established the line of control, effectively dividing Kashmir into areas administered by India and Pakistan.
I like how they made like the UN guy like some like Men in Black looking dude. Like, I don't know, it reminds me of like some cabal person.
However, this did not resolve the underlying dispute, as both nations continued to lay claim to the entire region. The United Nations called for a plebiscite to allow the people of Jammu and Kashmir to decide their own future, but this was never implemented.
Yeah, and to this day, it still causes contention and strife. Like the UN, the United Nations map has Pakistan, like Kashmir, like this part of Kashmir up here is part of Pakistan, and this right here as part of India. Well, actually, this like little nubbin's like part of China in like the UN official maps. But like the Indian map has all of this area, the Pakistan map has like all that area. It is hotly contested, hotly contentioned. And yeah, I see comments about it all the time. It's just, again, man, the British left and it caused decades of war, millions of people to die. Well, thousands of people, millions of people. I don't even know the exact number. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people to die. It's devastating.
The unresolved status of Kashmir meant that India and Pakistan's bad blood...
Also, this little split here, West Pakistan, East Pakistan, I mean, this eventually became Bangladesh, but like, who thought that was a good idea? Like, this is just ridiculous.
...continued to simmer for years after the war. By the mid-1960s, both nations were also under immense political pressure. In Pakistan, internal instability left President Ayub Khan, who had come to power through a military coup, facing dissent and regional tensions. Seeking to consolidate his power and unite the country under a common cause, he focused national attention on the Kashmir dispute. For India, Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri aimed to assert the nation's sovereignty and respond firmly to any threats, especially in
Is this China?
light of the recent Chinese invasion in 1962,
okay.
which had left the
You know, I guess it is Kashmir because cash is cash. Yeah, okay.
country on high alert. The international situation further complicated things, as the Cold War saw both India and Pakistan seeking support from global superpowers. Pakistan was allied with the United States and received military aid through agreements like SEATO and CENTO.
And this just, the U.S. backing Pakistan just led to countless of military equipment to go towards Pakistani-backed terrorist units that spread throughout the whole world. Angry, but you know what? Don't lay blame on the son for the sins of the father. You know.
Meanwhile, India, after its war with China, leaned toward the Soviet Union for military support. These alliances meant that the Kashmir issue was no longer a local conflict, but a new flashpoint in the Cold War, with both superpowers closely monitoring developments in South Asia. Tensions finally reached a breaking point in August of 1965, when Pakistan launched Operation Gibraltar. This plan was to infiltrate Jammu and Kashmir with trained guerrillas to incite an insurgency against Indian rule. Pakistan's leadership believed that an uprising in Kashmir would force India to negotiate the status of the region. However, the operation did not go as planned. The Kashmirs did not rise in revolt as expected, and Indian forces quickly discovered the infiltrators, engaging them in heavy fighting all throughout August. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, World of Warships Legends.
World of Warships, man. I'm not a big fan of World of Warships. It's one of these freemium games that that pushes microtransactions out the wazoo, makes you spend tons of money. I don't like it. I don't like the pay model of it. You know, it's just
a
I don't know,
massive
bad
multiplayer
in my
free-to-play
opinion.
console game for naval battle enthusiasts, available on PlayStation and Xbox. Choose from a huge array of historically accurate destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers, and jump straight into the action.
That looked like a
Game
mobile
cruisers,
game.
Battleships, and aircraft carriers.
Is it on
and
phone
jump
as well? No, this is just the UI. No, this is a mobile UI. Is it on mobile as well? Oh yeah, Android app. Oh, no, that's his app.
straight into the action. Game control is easy, but unlike other fast-paced FPS games,
this is a mobile.
Success
It's on
depends
mobile.
on
Okay.
sound strategy and thoughtful decision-making. Enjoy intense battles on maps adapted for swift engagements, as well as a wide variety of PvP engagements. with over
Admittedly
8
though, I will say that this game does have its niche. It has its market right. Like no other game company is making a game like this.
million players worldwide. For a limited time,
It's just
experience this summer's most exciting game.
It's just a shame that like look at this. Look. 7 days of premium account, 5 common crates, 10 red, white, and blue camouflages, 10 hunter camouflages.
Crossover as World of Warships Legends meets the
What? I will say it to this day. Fortnite is the death of video games because they tell these corporate entities that the people want these collaborations between all these different media groups and outlets. Star Trek and World of Warships.
Star Trek universe. From now through August 4th, find out how your favorite Starfleet captain might fare if they went back in time to command a warship from Earth's history. Log in now and unlock a unique Star Trek port, complete a special mission to earn Captain Jean-Luc Picard for free, get a tour of the bridge of the Starship Enterprise, and receive special Star Trek customization like patches, flags, camos, unique ship skins, and more. Newcomers will also receive an American Tier 3 premium battleship, the USS Arkansas, the German Tier 3 cruiser Karlsruhe, 7 days of premium account, 5 common crates, 10 red, white, and blue camouflages, and 10 hunter camouflages. Use our link in the description and sign up for World of Warships Legends today. As conflict loomed,
Anyways,
both India
back
and
to the video.
Pakistan had built up their militaries ready for mobilization, each confident in their preparedness and capabilities. Pakistan's military, though smaller in overall numbers, was highly professional and well-trained. comprising approximately 260,000 active personnel. Additionally, the army itself was supplemented by over 250,000 paramilitary troops concentrated on the Kashmir region. The Pakistani military benefited from extensive training programs, with many officers trained in Western military academies. Their forces were equipped with modern American weaponry, tanks, and aircraft. Pakistan's armored units and air force were considered to be technologically superior, while their strategy was heavily influenced by the belief that a quick, decisive action in Kashmir could catch India off guard and compel them to negotiate. On the other hand, India's military was one of the largest in the world, with around 700,000 active personnel. After
the current largest military is China now, right? Even though India has a larger population, there's more soldiers technically in China. Does China have conscription as well, or no? Oh, I don't think they do.
Sino-Indian War 1962, the Indian military had restructured and improved their training programs, focusing on flexibility and mobility to counter potential threats on multiple fronts. India's equipment included older but reliable British and Soviet tanks, such as the Centurion and the T-55, and their air force operated Hawker Hunter and MiG-21 aircraft.
MiGs.
While not as technologically advanced as Pakistan's American-supplied gear, India's equipment was robust and battle-tested. India had been on high alert since the Chinese invasion and had invested significantly in military readiness and infrastructure, making them better prepared for a prolonged conflict. In response to Operation Gibraltar, India launched a full-scale military response. Indian forces crossed the line of control on August 28th and engaged Pakistani troops in heavy fighting. The early August military response. Indian forces crossed the line of control on August 28th and engaged.
So India was the first to engage in the war. Interesting.
Pakistani troops in heavy fighting. The early stages of the war were marked by intense skirmishes and battles at key locations like Haji Pir. Indian forces, aiming to neutralize the infiltrators, had effectively advanced into Pakistani-administered territory. This phase saw fierce encounters all across Jammu and Kashmir, where both sides vied for strategic dominance. One of the early key battles was fought at Kargil during the Chum Offensive, where Indian troops managed to push back Pakistani infiltrators, securing the region. As the conflict escalated, both nations mobilized their full military capabilities, leading to widespread engagements. On September 1st, Pakistan launched Operation Grand Slam, a bold offensive aimed at capturing the vital Akhnor Bridge in Jammu. This bridge was crucial, as it connected the Indian-controlled Kashmir Valley with the rest of India. Pakistan's strategy was to sever this link and cut off.
Yeah, that one bridge was probably like, because everything else around that area is like extremely mountainous, right? Like it's mountainous, and like the infrastructure isn't as well built up. So even back, I mean, I guess back in 1965, but yeah, the roads wouldn't have been able to support, constant military troops going back and forth, and of course the armored vehicles that were super heavy. That I'm going to imagine that like any of the side roads wouldn't be able to support that at all, right? So yeah, that one bridge was very key, very vital.
Off Indian supply lines, thereby crippling Indian operations in the region. Initially, Pakistan achieved success as they advanced rapidly toward their objective. However, the tide began to turn as Indian forces mounted a counteroffensive. India responded by opening a new front in the Punjab region, launching a massive attack toward the city of Lahore. This forced Pakistan to divert troops from Operation Grand Slam to defend its own territory, diluting their efforts in Jammu. The Indian advance toward Lahore saw heavy fighting.
So India essentially just forced Pakistan to spread their troops thin.
Towns of Fatpur and Dograi, where Indian forces managed to gain ground.
They almost got to Lahore. Could you imagine the world what it would be like if India was able to capture Lahore?
Despite stiff resistance. Conditions faced by infantry on both sides were grueling. Soldiers endured extreme weather conditions, From the scorching plains of Rajasthan to the frigid mountains that dominated Jammu and Kashmir, continuous combat added to the difficulties, with both armies engaging in fierce close-quarters battles. Both India and Pakistan deployed significant artillery units to bombard enemy positions and disrupt supply lines. The widespread use of artillery fire led to high casualties and created a constant threat for infantry as they attempted to advance on enemy positions. To break the slog of massed infantry attacks, both sides employed extensive use of tanks. From September 8th to the 10th, Pakistani and Indian armored forces faced off near the village of Asal Uttar in Punjab. Pakistani forces, fielding their advanced M48 Pattons, initially made significant gains. However, Indian forces, using strategically defensive positions alongside their...
I guess tank combat really isn't like a major thing. There was a bit of tank combat right now during like the Russia-Ukrainian war, but most of it's like foot battles, right? Foot battles and like in long distance, like drone strikes. Which, by the way, North Korean soldiers have been confirmed to be in Ukraine right now, fighting against the Ukrainians.
Their own Centurion and Sherman tanks managed to halt and eventually repulse the Pakistani advance. On September 11th, 28 Pakistani tanks were destroyed, with the loss of only one Indian tank at Philora.
Whoa!
This battle was
28-1? Damn.
A turning point, resulting in heavy losses for Pakistan and earning India a strategic victory.
Obviously.
3 days later, one of the largest tank battles of the war took place in the Sialkot sector. Pakistani forces aimed to capture the town of Chavinda, which was strategically important due to its railway connections. The battle saw intense fighting, with both sides deploying large numbers of infantry, tanks, and artillery. Indian forces initially made significant inroads, but fierce resistance from Pakistani troops, combined with effective use of artillery, stalled their advance. In the desert region of Rajasthan, Indian forces
this border here, right to this day, is like one of the longest guarded borders. Is that correct?
Staunchly defended against continuous Pakistani offensives across the sector. These operations helped secure the desert front and prevented Pakistani forces from making significant inroads. The conflict also saw significant air battles, with both countries deploying their air forces extensively.
I didn't know about this war at all. It's not talked about.
Pakistani Air Force engaged in numerous dogfights and bombing raids. India targeted key military installations and supply lines in Pakistan, while the Pakistanis aimed to disrupt Indian ground operations using their more modernized aircraft, which helped offset their inferior numbers. Naval operations, though limited, also played a role in the conflict. On September 7, 1965, Pakistan launched Operation Dwarka, aiming to destroy Dwarka's radar station, lower Indian morale, and force the Indians to divert their naval and air assets. While Pakistan claimed partial success, Indian sources dispute this. The Indian Navy ramped up maritime defense, conducting patrols and sweeps in the Arabian Sea to protect ports and shipping from Pakistani threats.
Operation Dwarka? I mean, where did they target? I guess, I don't know. Is this a city? I don't know. Is this like a city in Gujarat or something?
These operations, while not involving major naval battles, ensured the safety of India's coastline and merchant vessels, limiting Pakistan's naval impact. The primary theater of conflict was in the west, as the front in East Pakistan, what would later become Bangladesh, saw little military activity. Indian and Pakistani forces engaged in skirmishes all along the border, but the Eastern Command of the Indian Army made no plans to invade East Pakistan. This was primarily due to East Pakistan's isolation and their growing discontent with Pakistani rule. As one Indian general stated, "Why kill the East Pakistanis who hate the West Pakistanis anyway?" For India, it was enough to pressure
Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. There was recently, I think it was one of the generals from Bangladesh that went and like and is currently in talks with Pakistan right now. And it feels like there's a lot of tension in Bangladesh right now. I know a lot of people, I don't know, it's just up in the air. There's a lot of contention.
Pakistan into diverting military resources to protect the East. As the conflict between India and Pakistan worsened, the international community became increasingly concerned about the potential for a larger regional war. The United States and the Soviet Union, despite being on opposite sides of the Cold War, both had vested interests in preventing the conflict from spiraling out of control. The US initially provided diplomatic backing to Pakistan, but as the war intensified, it became clear that a prolonged conflict would destabilize the region. The Soviets, while supportive of India's position, were equally concerned about maintaining regional stability and avoiding direct confrontation with the United States.
This has some like very ominous contentions is not the word that I want to say. Um, like there's something ominous behind this. Like these shadowy figures are controlling this area, right? Man, I personally wish the U.S. would I don't know, focus more on itself before, diving into, trying to be the world police, personally.
Region. The Soviets, while supportive of India's position, were equally concerned about maintaining regional stability and avoiding direct confrontation with the United States. Both superpowers thus found common ground in their desire to mediate an end to the hostilities. On September 6th, the UN Security Council
You see how just how crazy that is? You see how the US and Russia decided for India and Pakistan that their war was going to end.
Resolution 209, urging both countries to cease hostilities and withdraw their forces to pre-conflict positions. Despite this initial call, fighting continued, prompting further action from the UN. Subsequent resolutions, including Resolution 210 and Resolution 211, reiterated the demand for a ceasefire and called for direct negotiations between India and Pakistan. Under intense international pressure and facing the exhaustion of resources, both India and Pakistan eventually agreed to a ceasefire. On September 23, 1965, a UN-mandated ceasefire came into effect. The terms of the ceasefire required both nations to withdraw their forces to positions held before the outbreak of hostilities, and to respect the line of control. The Tashkent Agreement, brokered by the Soviet Union in January 1966, saw both nations agreeing to restore economic and diplomatic relations and to withdraw troops from disputed areas. Despite the ceasefire and subsequent Tashkent Agreement, the war left a legacy of unresolved tensions,
Obviously.
especially around the status of Kashmir, while the rivalry between India and Pakistan remained as severe as it was before the war began. Overall, the war left significant casualties and losses on both sides. India suffered approximately 3,000 casualties, while Pakistan faced around 3,800 casualties. Both nations also incurred substantial material losses, including hundreds of tanks and aircraft, alongside considerable economic costs due to the prolonged military engagement. With these sobering tallies, underlying disputes and nationalistic fervor persisted, ultimately setting the stage for future conflicts and continuing instability in the region. Remember to subscribe to Armchair History TV and watch our exclusive companion episode for this video. Also, look out for our 45-minute documentary, which we'll be releasing for free for everybody on AHTV at the end of this month.
All right, well, there you are. The Armchair Historian TV, the Indo-Pakistani War of 1965. Again, this is the first time I've ever really heard about it, in detail. The U.S. history books don't talk about this sort of stuff. U.S. history books never talked about, India, hardly at all. At least when I was in school, I went to high school in the early 2000s, so not too long ago, right? Like I'm not so much of a boomer yet. Hmm. I want to go back to this. I want to go back to this. Hmm. So thousands of people died. Nearly 7,000 people died. Hundreds of vehicles were destroyed. Probably hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment destroyed. And then everyone was forced to go back to the previous borders, huh? Hmm. Stalemate, aerial warfare. There's even photos of it. Wow. Uses of tanks in battle. Some of the largest tank battles since World War II. Oh, wow. Naval hostilities. Assessment of losses. Um, combat flying efforts. Commissions. Commissioned officers. Oh, 169. Pakistan doesn't claim anything. Tanks destroyed. Is there like were there no civilian casualties? Oh, here, 3 Indian civilian aircraft shot down. Wow. 3 post-war. So they were still fighting after the fact. Look at this, 165 tanks destroyed on the Pakistani side. 128 Indian tanks. India claims 470 Pakistani tanks destroyed and 38 captured. Wow. 471 tanks? Just goes to show you, you can have the better equipment, but if you're not the better soldier, then you're not going to be able to utilize that equipment. Ceasefire agreement, intelligence failure, Indian miscalculations. Indian military intelligence gave no warnings of the impending Pakistan invasion. The Indian army failed to recognize the presence of heavy Pakistani artillery and armaments in Sham, and suffered significant losses as a result. Oh. Pakistani miscalculations. Failures began with the supposition that a generally discontented Kashmir people would revolt against their Indian rulers, bringing about a swift and decisive victory. The Kashmir people, on the other hand, remained calm and collected. The Indian army was given enough information to understand Operation Gibraltar that they were battling not insurgents as they had initially thought, but Pakistani army regulars. Hmm. So Pakistan thought that the Kashmir people, would join their side and fight against India, but they didn't. That's interesting. Okay. Well, I think I'll probably read through this on my own, so I can go through like the individual battles and whatnot. Yeah, I didn't know about this fight whatsoever, or this engagement, set of engagements, this war, the 17-day war. It just, again, not taught. So the link to this video will be in the description down below. I'm going to go ahead and read some comments now. Then after I read a few of the comments, we're going to roll to see what the next video that we're going to react to is, okay? 99% of the comments, there will be war in the comment section. 1% actual war. Oh, okay. A quick and decisive action in Kashmir could catch India off guard and compel them to negotiate. Wait a minute, I've seen this before. Flashback to World War II Japan. Yeah. Oh boy, here we go again. Battle of Asar is taught in military schools worldwide because of how the terrain was used against tanks. The Indian side was outnumbered, but they had breached a local canal during night and flooded the sugar fields where the battle was taking place, then lured the Pakistani tanks into pushing the Indian side, but they got slowed down because of the flooding. Oh, yeah, yeah. Use the mud to slow them down. That's smart. Israel versus Palestine fanboys can't compete with the classic rivalry. So this is the lore behind the Pakistani grape lady? Grape? Grape lady? Pakistani grape lady. Oh, is that the one? Hold on. Yeah, it is this one. Okay.
My pledge is to help people who need for like people money and all this.
He's going to help the people in Pakistan. Great.
Grape!
To when I will grow up, I will help the poor people by giving their homes, by giving them homes.
Inshallah, he is going to give homes to everyone.
I love Pakistan. I will sacrifice my life for Pakistan. I love Pakistan.
We all love Pakistan. Pakistan.
My plan is that I will be pilot and I will help everyone. And I will help everyone.
I've not seen this version of the
he's a
meme
pilot,
with all the
great.
edits.
My plan is to that I will study hard.
Stop the cap.
I'll study hard. I don't like this edit. This edit's weird. I don't like the edit. I don't like the edit. I don't like the edit. But yeah, that's the one. Okay. I'm sure there's going to be peaceful and respectful comment section. You missed that Indian Prime Minister was killed. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Britain tried to draw sensible boundaries, challenge impossible. That's what I said, like several times at the very beginning. My conspiracy theory is that the British drew arbitrary lines on the former colonies on purpose to keep them destabilized so they can be influenced later. Hey, that's a possibility. But they did that all over the world, though. So unless you're insinuating that the British did it to every single country that they left and formed different countries for the people, I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know. So basically, the moral of the story is many wars rooted from the British drawing of maps. Yes, out of all the Indo-Pakistani wars, this is the one I and most people forget. I didn't really know about it. Not Indian invasion of Goa. Goa was occupied by Portuguese colonizers. That makes it Indian liberation of Goa. That's not how bigger gun diplomacy works. Grow a pair. So if the Native Americans retook America, would it be liberation or invasion? Here we go again. Neither. It would be called a rebellion. Most Goans often opt for European Portuguese passports. Makes sense. Obviously, Goa was part of India thousands of years before Portugal even came into existence. So if a foreign country occupied Karachi and Balochistan and you try to take it back, will it be liberation or invasion? Liberation. Same goes for Goa. Then a failure. Goa is an integral part of Portugal. If, for example, this is occupied by Iran for 100 years, does that claim of Pakistan still matter? Liberation, invaders, less obvious. You ain't go anything, buddy. Libvasion. Okay. Is it just me or the comments actually chill? Glory to India from Greece. Indian invasion of Goa sounds like it was Portugal land colonized by India. I mean, it was like it was a Portuguese colony for like what, 300 years? It was a long time, wasn't it? Same argument of Kashmir from Pakistan. Kashmir is part of India. Invasion just means put army into it to enter another state. You don't need to be fluent in English, but just don't bash others because your lack of knowledge. Wow. I'm sure that this comments okay. Kashmir is the name itself comes from the Hindu monk named Rishi Kashyap. That's only a theory. There are multiple possible origins of the name. There can be any theory, but definitely not related to Islam. Yes, and the Taj Mahal is actually Tijo Mahalia. 300 years ago, whole Kashmir was Hindu. It was Aurangzeb, I don't even know what that word is, who caused genocide and mass conversion there. Kashmir are newly made Muslims. Just imagine Kashmir was Hindu majority just 300 years ago. My grandmother was in Goa when the invasion occurred. She is a Goan native. There was discontent against Portugal in Goa. There's a guy in the replies spewing hate. Okay. Fun fact, Pakistan celebrates this war as a National Defense Day, only country which celebrates a stalemate as a win. The sequel to this conflict was a real banger. This one was decent. The sequel to this 6 years later was Fire. Please cover 1971. This is the one that I know of the most about. I'm really going to enjoy the comment section. Everyone's saying the comment section. They're going to enjoy the comment section. India and the world sees same kind of stats of this war. Unfortunately, Pakistan is being taught something else, and they will get triggered by the video. Well, look, there's a Pakistani account right here, Pakistan Country Ball. I won't, since I have read all the books from both sides. It was India's fault in Kutch, but in 1965, Greater War is Pakistani initial failure. Maturity is when we realize Britain is the godfather of disputes. That's what I'm saying at the very beginning. Always love seeing the new video drop. Greece versus Turkey. As an Indian, we have great neighbors. They do bark sometimes, but it's not that we can't pet them. Did you just say Indian invasion of Goa? Unsubscribe from this channel immediately. Well, y'all, too insecure to hear reality. Goa at the time was part of the Portuguese state. It was invasion, whether you believe that it was justified or not. It was undoubtedly an instance of India putting troops on soil that did not officially belong to it. Seriously, people saying this, how Portuguese came there, Portuguese colonized a part of India, Goa, for some time, just like British colonized U.S. We took it back to unify into one single nation. It was always been part of India. Strange that people come and comments this without knowing any knowledge. What's wrong with you? Defining what an invasion is, though it might nullify you to know that I think India invading Goa was justified. Goa predates India. India was created as a state in 1947 prior to the various empires and kingdoms ruled different parts of the subcontinent, none of which were called India. I think the word invasion means the act of using force to take over something that you are not the de facto in control of. So an invasion can indeed be justified. One takeover of Goa is definitely justified, but still an invasion. All right. You forgot to include the graveyard of tanks. Yeah, that was the one. Wait, what is this? It's the biggest graveyard of tanks in the world. It has 600 destroyed Indian tanks. Not according to this. There was not that many Indian tanks that were destroyed. According to this, only 128 Indian tanks were destroyed. Right? Okay. Armchair uploading when I'm bored at work. It's Indian liberation of Goa, not Indian invasion of Goa. I think it's just the semantics of the word that's causing a lot of contention with that particular phrase. What is the stereotyping, bro? Pakistanis definitely do not wear the fez. I was gonna mention that fez during. I don't know if this is like. I don't believe this. Well, actually, I was gonna say I don't believe this is AI generated, but then we see this. Like, these are all different shapes, so maybe it is. I don't know. I'm sure he has an artist, right? He's got his own website. I'm sure he has a team of artists. But yeah, I was going to mention this fez here. Right here. This guy's red fez. Okay. Oh, let's go ahead and read some of the new comments. I'm sure a lot of them are going to be pretty similar to what we've already been reading. Nice video. I really like it. Punjab, Indian, Punjab, Pakistan. What is this? At time 1533, the map of Kashmir is wrong. India is rightful owner of the region. I, as an Indian, pay my respects to Russia and USSR. Guys, please don't fight. Just say PKMKB. I don't know what that means. Half-baked and poorly researched video. Map is wrong, you English gentlemen. English gentlemen are your masters. Independence was a mistake. Oh, God, that's racist. Correct your mistakes. Maharaja of Jammu Kashmir signed instruments of accession after Pakistan illegal invasion. By the way, I'm Indian. I think most of the people in the comments are Indian. Tea was fantastic. Abhinanda can tell you who really won the Pak-Indo Wars. Okay. Original religion of Pakistan is Hindu. Don't call it Kashmir. We are from Jammu, and Jammu is not Kashmir. It's Jammu and Kashmir, isn't it? Isn't the region called Jammu and Kashmir? Well, I guess there's like it's separated. There's like three different like separations when you actually go into it. Then why India was more Muslim than that of Pakistan? Oh, whoa, weird. Huh. I don't know what caused that. That was weird. It's a fact. India had Sherman tanks given by U.S. during the Second World War. Such a wrong narrative on the sequence of events in Kashmir conflict. This is rushed and popular version of what people think would happen. Please do deeper research before committing to on any conflicts. Grape. Fake and partial information. USA is always with the wrong side of history since World War II. Pakistan fought and lost so many wars for Kashmir, spent so much money funding terrorism. In the end, their country is one suffering today from terrorism, who they've given a place. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of terrorist hubs in the Pakistani land. The amount of inaccuracy in this video is appalling. Why don't you guys refer to the historical expert without bias? No Pakistani. Yeah, so you mean only one side perspective and the one side that is not reliable, right? I call it propaganda, in your case, Indian propaganda. Call it whatever you feel like. I'd literally trust anyone else over an average Pakistani when it comes to the Kashmir issue, or even issues with regards to Islam. Just can't trust most of them. It is what it is. My perspective isn't the problem. Reality is. Lol, ads sponsored. More like Sikh Pakistani war. Sikhs are a warrior class. There's even a picture of a bunch of Indian Sikh soldiers standing outside of Lahore police station in 65. They made it to Lahore? Finally, a legit guy, not an Indian kid who just says, "Hi guys, today we discuss Indo-Pak wars." So what happened was the Pakistani attacked with 1 million troops while one Indian soldier defeated them all and took all of Pakistan with no resistance. So pro FR skibbity sigma. Sikkim was not part of British India. Was it not? I guess not. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Please use correct map of Republic of India. Invasion, classic American. The guy's not even American. Is he? Is he American? I forgot his accent.
For a plebiscite to allow the people of Jammu and
Yeah, this is not an American accent. This guy's 100% like a British dude. No, he's out of the United States. What? Let me listen to this guy again.
Kashmir to decide their own future, but this was never implemented.
Oh no, I guess it's an American accent. I don't pay too close attention to accents. So, what sort of invasion and would people accept you? Wrong map. All right. There's some factual errors need to rectify. Islam is a threat to the world because it's religious ideology, yet West will surely understand it. You forgot that Pakistani army destroyed 700 Indian tanks of India, which is world record and never achieved by any other country. That's literally not here, though. That's literally not here. Unless I'm reading this wrong. No, I'm reading this correct. This is saying they destroyed 470 tanks. Officially? I don't know. Pak Army 9,300 surrendered. 700 tanks, bro. Have you heard of World War II? Source. Okay. Imagine being bested by a country 1/4 your size. Imagine being bested after you decide to disarm. Bested? How are they bested? They had a bunch of land taken over. Pakistan or India wasn't bested. India literally like took a bunch of their land and then was forced by the UN to recede and give the land back. Okay. Well, I think that's going to be it. It was a good video. I liked the video. I learned a little bit more. I feel like I want to read a little bit more. I'll probably read this while the video is rendering and whatnot. But yeah, next time we are going to figure out what we are going to watch. So let me take that off my reaction list here. Let me just go ahead and refresh this. We're down to 299 videos. 299. So let's go ahead and see what the next video is going to be. 199. So next time, this is the video that we're going to be reacting to. It is video 199. How TikTok ruined books. I feel like I reacted to this already. Maybe I haven't. Well, how TikTok ruined books, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one, yeah? Take care, goodbye.